In this video, I'm going to talk about why Japan and the United States plan to locate a nuclear waste storage facility in Mongolia. Both Japan and the United States have been struggling with nuclear waste for a long time. Nuclear energy is the most expensive energy source in the world right now. Tens to hundreds of billions of dollars are spent on nuclear energy projects. Much of this money is spent burying nuclear waste because nuclear waste is dangerously radioactive and it remains so for thousands of years. Because of this, the United States has failed to construct a nuclear storage site for its growing nuclear waste stockpile, despite their large budget. The disposal of nuclear waste could potentially have negative effects on the people who live near where it's stored. No one would like to see their country used as a nuclear waste dump. The United States nuclear industry and the American government led research on where to open up a permanent international nuclear waste dump. The targets for such a site are poor and developing countries with relatively few residents. Mongolia is the 18th largest country in the world, but its population is only 3 million, making it the most sparsely populated country in the world. By this measure, Mongolia fits the profile of a target country to host a nuclear waste dump. Mongolia is also a really politically corrupted nation at the moment, making the appeal of billions of dollars of international investment very tempting, even if it comes at the cost of storing dangerous materials inside our own borders. That's why these people are involved in such a dirty, dangerous business. It's all about money. Mongolia was chosen by both Japan and the United States to open a storage site for their nuclear energy company's radioactive waste. According to them, Mongolia is a convenient dumping ground as it's a developing country with lax environmental laws. The country has big plans for uranium extraction and building its own nuclear power plants as well. It is true that the Mongolian government mining company Mongatom has been planning to mine large amounts of uranium from the country's reserves to export to developing markets countries. In 2011, Japan's Mainichi newspaper, one of the most prestigious newspapers in Japan, reported that the United States, Japan, and the Mongolia were set to sign an agreement over the project in February, but put it off after objections from Japan's foreign ministry. During the Nadam Festival in 2010, some corrupt Mongolian authorities probably constructed that decision with Japanese and American official representatives. Then some Mongolian political parties and public organizations released a note claiming Mongolia has allowed the burial of Japanese nuclear waste. When the story first broke, Mongolia's reform government denied it, saying Mongolia has not and will not bury nuclear waste. And our president Elbogdorj posted a statement on Twitter that said, Mongolia still stands on its nuclear-free status. I assure you again that rumor about nuclear waste burial in Mongolia is not the policy of Mongolia. The truth of this report is still unknown. During this time, the Mongolian citizens rose up and protested. We protested loudly and passionately. The Mongolian Green Coalition asked the Minister of Foreign Affairs, President Elbogdorj, and any other political authorities for clarification about all this process and issues. Unfortunately, there was no response. If the spent nuclear waste is already buried in Mongolian soil, our country will become the entire world's dumping ground all too soon. The Mongolian government must provide an answer officially and prove the falsity of the newspaper reports to clear themselves. However, their silence continues.